All right, what's going on, guys? It's Tuesday, and I just came back from work. By anyway, today is the 1st of March. I'm gonna be the final month to end the first quarter of 2022. Probably will be seeing a pretty bad quarter overall. I'm certain that we have seen a lot of up and down in January and February. But the key things that is going to be happening on in March would most likely be the upcoming CPI, the upcoming FOMC meeting. I do am interested in the employment data that we will be getting in March as well, which is the February data basically. And of course, hopefully, we'll see the end of this whole entire Russian-Ukraine situation ending in March as well. But anyway, let's cover some news today. All right, let's head over to Wall Street Journal. Okay. Oh yeah. Before anything, let me just give you guys a brief summary of what actually happened. The 24-hour update. Okay, the 24-hour update. Zelensky went over to the Belarus border to try to make to try to actually do the negotiation with Putin. Of course, the whole meeting has already concluded. They're both alive for now. They're both alive. Right now, they just go back to their own camps, and then they are just going to do some negotiating before they actually come to any sort of conclusion. Nothing is actually being announced yet of what is actually being talked about in the negotiation at the borders of Belarus. All right. Secondly, it's already confirmed that SWIFT banking system has been taken away. Which is why we probably saw ruble, which is the main currency in Russia, tumble down crazily. For people who are unaware, before, I think it was about 30 years ago, the ruble to USD comparison was one USD to 32 ruble. No, it was 32 USD to 1 ruble, I think. And then now ruble is worth 0.005. Something, you know what? Let's just to ruble. You know what? Let's do a comparison with us right now. Okay. Okay, never mind. It was the other way around. So 1 USD gave us 32 ruble before. And then now, yeah. Okay, so if you do, yeah. In 2018, in 2008, which was when the whole financial crisis situation happened, it was about 27, 30-ish, okay, 30-ish ruble. Right now it's 99. That's 3 times more. It's almost, I don't want to sound like a douchebag. It's almost like Singapore and Malaysia. So that's how bad it is. And it is going to be even worse because with additional sanctions from even New Zealand came out from their neutral position to come in to actually put in some sanction against Russian banks as well. So with more sanctions, economical sanctions against Russia, that's going to be affecting Russia's economy. And let's not forget that, of course, Russia is really trying to bolster this entire situation by saying, okay, you know what, we're going to be increasing the interest rates throughout to 20%, so that if you actually put money into the banks, you'll feel a lot safer. But you're getting 20% for the banks, but at the same time, that's the loaning rate, aka the interest rate for loans. So a lot of people are very, very worried. And because with SWIFT banking actually being abolished for a lot of banks as well, people are unable to really take this money somewhere else, which is why you can see a lot of Russians basically withdrawing all their money from ATMs. They are going from every single ATM trying to withdraw as much money as they can to quickly buy more IT appliances, be it like a mouse, a keyboard, a television, like whatever it is, you want to get as much as you can in the tech space, because those items you can then afterwards resell it on eBay for hopefully other currency. Well, most likely in USD. So that's kind of the situation in Russia right now, which is pretty bad. And that's also one of the reasons why we actually saw Bitcoin or crypto in general just go all the way to the moon. Right now, Bitcoin is doing 44.2K. Ethereum is currently at 2.9K. let's see. The one that I really want to look at is Luna, Terra Luna, Terra Luna. Terra Luna is at 93 USD, which is the most craziest part. Okay, for people who are unaware why Terra Luna is going up so much as compared to what Bitcoin is doing or what Ethereum is doing, is because people who want to get into all your stable coins, which is your USDT and your UST, Terra Luna is one of it, which is your UST. And for you to actually get the UST, you have to buy the Luna first. You buy the Luna and then you peg it to the dollar, to the UST. And then when you actually get the UST, you actually burn off Terra Luna, the actual token, which then kind of appreciate the value of the token over and over. So the more people get into the stable coin of it, the more the actual token appreciate in price. So yeah. So Kelly, Terra Luna went up to the moon, to back to the $93 mark, which I'm very, very happy about. Of course, I still have my Terra Luna, and I did not really sell off all my Terra Luna holdings. I did sell a huge portion when it hit $104, I think, about there. I did sell a good amount when it was at 104. But yeah, right now it's at 93, which I'm very, very happy about. Hopefully you can see it actually go back up. But yeah, anyway, the reason being is because people are basically trying to get as much money as they can into your decentralized exchanges and then buying as much cryptocurrency as you can. Or at least these are the currencies that will not just rug pull you the next day, like what the Moscow exchange is currently going through with this entire escapade and such. Money in the Russia currency exchange in general is not going to be doing very, very well. And of course, I do want to actually bring up a point because I did see a tweet about this. It's actually a Reddit post where someone actually said, I tried to time the market and, I thought that everything is going to go up and everything went down. And when the war happened, I thought everything is going to go down. So I bought puts and suddenly the whole thing recovered and I lost money on it. And when I thought that, the recovery is here, I buy calls and then the market just decided to go down. And he just basically talked about how 99.999% of all his bets all just go against what he actually bought into, which kind of furthers, it kind of further shows the point of why people actually get into index funds, of why people just, I'm just going to buy and hold, I'm going to buy and hold, I'm going to buy and hold. Just DCA. And I think a lot of people, you'll be surprised how many rich people basically just do this every single month. Every single month, they just buy more index funds. Whatever index funds you want it to be. You want it to be the Dow Jones, you want it to be S&P, you want it to be NASDAQ, you want it to be the world index fund, whatever it is, just buy index funds. And a lot of rich people basically do this for them to actually just accumulate their wealth over time. And I think that of course, that is also a good way. But, I just felt for it when I actually went through the tweet for the Reddit poster that was like saying, basically everything that everything that he bought just went against him. And yeah, I can kind of see that happening because right now we are really in a trading period where nothing really makes sense. So yeah, I think it's going to be very hard. But yeah, okay, anyway, let's not ramble on so much, okay? Because we have to cover the news, and then I need to go and make my dinner, and then get ready for market open. All right. Anyway, Russia targets civilian areas as missiles hits central Kharkiv. I did read a little bit about this in the morning before I went to work, but let's just go through the latest developments so that we can kind of understand what is going on in this whole entire scenario. Let's go down all the way and then we will move back up so that we can actually follow the timeline for it. Okay. Probably from here, I'm guessing. Okay. MSCI signals potential exclusion of Russia from influential indexes. Literally what I said before, the world indexes. So chances are world indexes are starting to be like, you know what, we cannot really bring Russia into our global index because if we do that, the index is going to suddenly have a big plummet. And the big plummet is going to be like 3 or 4%. I'll bet it's not going to be huge for people who are in crypto, people who are in penny stocks, or people who are constantly trading in tech stock. 4% is not a lot, but do understand that 3 or 4% in an index fund is a lot. Okay, And I can see why MSCI did that. I think that it would be a smart thing for them to do, but I'm pretty sure that they are not going to do it immediately, because it's then going to be very hard for Russia to then come back in again into the MSCI. But yeah, right now I think they are just basically signaling a potential exclusion. I'm not sure are they going to be doing it, and especially with how Moscow Exchange have been sending out halts, trading halts over and over again, in order for the people of Russia to not sell their stocks, for people to not paper hands, and for them to actually hold on to their country's holding, hoping that the economy will eventually get better, even through this entire war scenario. But okay, the New York-based index compiler said it was seeking feedback from market participants on how to classify Russian shares, up to and including the potential reclassification of Russia as a standalone market rather than an emerging one. It plans to say more by the end of the week after reviewing responses. But yeah, I do think that doing a potential reclassification of Russia shares out of the global indexes would be a right move to do. But at the same time, they do need to also understand the consequences of actually taking Russia out, because in the future, if they do want to add Russia back in, then there's going to suddenly be a minor drop or even a minor spike, depending on where Moscow Exchange is going to be at that point in time. All right. Russia's G20 participation must be reviewed. Okay, actually, I'm not very sure about the whole G20 situation. I do know about the G20 summit and such, but I'm not very into the picture of the whole G20 with Russia. He said Russia's ongoing participation in G20 is being discussed with Indonesia, which chairs the group this year. The G20 has a lot of members, and that's a lot of interest to manage, and we want to support Indonesia in successfully chairing the G20 this year. But I think there has been a very clear view expressed, particularly by countries like Australia, G7 countries. This will need to be managed. Russia is the world's 11th largest economy, smaller than South Korea. Australia has joined the US and the other allies in imposing sanctions on Russian President Vladimir Putin, lawmakers, and oligarchs. All right, so like I said before, New Zealand, Australia, all of them, they're actually getting out of their neutral position to actually starting to go against Russia by, pushing out sanctions against them in order for them to kind of show that they are against this form of going against sovereignty and such. Russia has self-selected themselves as a pariah state. No one should have anything to do with them, frankly, right around the world. Mr. Morrison said Australia will commit 50 million USD to military aid for Ukraine, and the overwhelming majority of which will be for lethal defense support, including missiles and ammunition. The country will provide an initial $25 million in humanitarian support to international organization, although it expects requests for further aid over time, he said. So yeah, same thing about this. I think that because even US, they also did talk about Biden did talk about how he needed to loan a little bit more money to help Ukraine for this situation, but I'm not sure how that's going to be working out. I didn't really follow up on that news a lot because, of course, there's a lot of coverage on what's going to happen, which missile hit which residential unit and such. That's currently being plastered all over mainstream media as much, and a lot more than what is actually being used to help with the situation, which is why it's a lot of noise in the news outlet at the moment. Moscow sends in reinforcement. Not good. Okay, let's see. Senators warn of bloody battle in Kiev. Call for urgent delivery of aid and weapons. Yeah, I think this has been overstated by me already, as it is. So, JP Morgan suspend Russia fund as finance scrambles to adapt. That's huge because JP Morgan, I'm pretty sure everyone knows of JP Morgan, is a very, very huge bank that actually deals with a lot of global funds and such. And for them to actually suspend Russian fund is, again, another way of decapitating another economical limb for Russia, basically just, paralyzing them for them to actually make it harder for them to do a lot of transaction outside of the country. So yeah, that's going to be horrible for them. Kharkiv, a Freedom Square struck by a missile. This was the one that I actually saw in the morning. Live cam footage from Kharkiv Central Freedom. Oh wait, no, this is not the one that I saw from this morning. I don't think I did see something about Kharkiv, but I don't think it was a missile landing at the headquarters. But yeah, fireball charring nearby buildings and cars. There's no immediate word on casualties. 10 civilians, including 3 children and their parents, were incinerated in a car struck by a Russian projectile, injuring at least 40. Damn. Man, heavy. London Stock Exchange suspends trading in Russia's VTB Bank. Like I said before, a very, very clear move by London, because you know how UK actually already very, very obviously shown their stance on this entire situation. So, you know, it was about time. It was about time. All right. Russian central bank backtracks from Putin's capital controls decree. Russian residents and companies will still be able to pay off external debt, despite a decree from President Vladimir Putin that banned foreign exchange transfers abroad. In fact, the president's decree only prohibits issuance of loans by Russian residents to non-residents. It only works one way, meaning that Russian residents will continue their payment under loans issued by non-residents as usual, the central bank said in an email statement. So yeah, basically they are saying where Russia can basically still pay money out of the country, which is kind of weird. How is it one way? I was under the assumption that it will be a two-way kind of thing. Okay, but this is gonna be even worse for Russia. So I'm not sure why would they do it this way? Okay, the Kremlin issued a decree that stated that foreign exchange payments under loan agreement to non-residents of Russia will be prohibited from March 1st. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so basically what I'm trying to say here is that because, for example, if for myself, I'm a Singaporean, if I were to buy a property in Russia and I rent out if I rent out my property to a Russian, okay, in this current situation, there's no SWIFT banking, there's no transfer overseas, and whatever it is, my tenant can still pay me money, but I cannot give my tenant money, that sort of thing, because I'm a non-resident and they are a resident, so they can pay me money. But for the Kremlin, they actually issued a decree that stated foreign exchange payments under loan agreements to non-resident of Russia would be prohibited from March 1st. So it's not only just for a renting sort of thing, it's also a loaning kind of thing. So that means they're actually trying to stop people who are trying to buy in on the dip on Russia, which is kind of smart. Because, for example, right now, if I think that, you know, Russia is a good time for me to actually invest, I can get 20% in their central bank, okay? I can get 20% with their bonds. So right now, if I really wanted to, I can just plow in money into the Russia economy and then just buy their bonds. 20%, 20%, okay? And yeah, I think that it's smart for the Kremlin to issue a decree. So as of March 1st, which is today, they will be stopping all loan agreements to non-resident of Russia. So if you want to enjoy this 20%, hopefully 20%, because you are probably going to get 20%, but hopefully that your currency actually stay afloat. So yeah, you know, if you want to enjoy this 20%, you would have to be a resident of Russia. All right, it will say that payments to bank and other financial market organization outside of Russia and money transfer through foreign payment services providers would be barred. Like I said before, so for example, if my tenant were to want to transfer me money, now it wouldn't even work out that way. So now if I am a homeowner, I'm getting screwed by this whole rule, because I literally just bought a real estate that couldn't make me money in the near short-term future, because basically money can never come to me anymore. Okay, the move prompted a concern among analysts and investors that the Russian state and companies could default on their foreign debts. Rating companies S&P Global recently downgraded the sovereign to junk status, and Moody's said it has placed it on review. So yeah, you know, if you get into junk status, basically you're just a penny stock. Okay, you're just a penny stock. Russian state that $478 billion in external debt at the end of last year. FactSet data showed Russian companies and the financial institution have $257 billion in dollar debt and $75 billion of euro denominated debt outstanding, according to the Institute of International Finance. Okay, cool. Okay, MasterCard blocks financial institution amid tighter sanctions on Russia. Yikes. Okay. Blocked multiple financial institution after. Okay. We'll continue to work with regulators in the days ahead to abide fully by our compliance obligations as they evolve. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Mastercard. It was gonna happen anyway. YouTube blocks Russian state-controlled channels in Europe. Okay, so this is actually quite smart. Okay, so basically you have to understand that. Okay, I'm not sure if this is considered the next like World War III, but hypothetically speaking, let's just call this World War III. War is gonna be fought in a very very different manner, especially in this day and age. YouTube, Google, Facebook, all this, they're all gonna be out there spreading fake news, and that's a form of a form of, what do you call this? What's the opposite of deterrence? A form of attack. Yeah, a cyber attack. Yeah, basically an attack. So the YouTube, the Google, the Facebook, and such spreading fake news basically is going to help by attacking the nation, because in terms of the information that you're getting, you're actually blurring all the data that you're actually getting, and then it's going to make it even harder for people to actually find out what is actually true. Okay, what is actually the correct agenda for them to actually follow by and such. So I think that the future World War III, I'm not sure if this is it or the next one would be, this is going to be a very very important form of attack that's going to be happening. So it only makes sense for them to kind of just ban Russian state controlled channels, so that the European countries will not really get. I mean, I'm not very sure about this, because I do think that there's a certain level of truth from the Russian state channels, but at the same time, I do think that it's possible for them to run their own agenda. And especially with how YouTube is so free, there's so much access to information. I'm not sure if this is the right move, but if you're talking about in this current situation, I do think that I do think that Europe is doing the correct thing. So yeah. All right. Munich. I'm not even gonna try Philharmonic, I guess. Fires director close to Vladimir Putin. I mean, I'm not gonna really talk much about this, because it's basically just firing someone because you are close to Vladimir Putin. Okay. France to discuss Total's presence in Russia with its CEO. French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said he planned to discuss Total Energies. Oh, okay, it's got Total's Energy. Okay, yeah, this is another energy talk about probably gonna be splitting with Russia, most likely. Share blah blah blah. Okay, it's still under discussion. There's no conclusion. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to waste my time. There's still other news for me to actually cover, so I'm not going to read that. Okay, Russian markets remain shorted following sanctions. Pretty expected. I already explained this earlier. Zelensky said Ukrainians are fighting for EU membership. Okay, so for people who are unaware, Ukraine has already successfully registered to try to actually enter into EU. Of course, we are not confirmed if they're actually part of EU yet. But I'm not sure if that's really a right move for Ukraine, because the things that the more they try to actually get into EU, the more they're trying to get closer to NATO, and the more Russia is going to hate it, and the more Putin is going to be even more aggressive, and then the more a war is going to happen. So, not sure if Zelensky is doing the right thing. But I did read up on how Zelensky actually already went to register to become a member of the European Union. But yeah, okay, let's see over here. Zelensky said his country's citizens were fighting for survival and also fighting to be an equal members of the bloc. To lawmakers, she welcomed Ukraine's application to become a candidate country for membership of the Union and would work towards it. Decision on the EU membership European Union membership are largely in the hands of the members' country, decided primarily by national leaders. Citizens of Ukraine are defending freedom and paying the ultimate price, Mr. Zelensky said. Same thing, like I said before, I'm not sure if this is the right move for Zelensky. I kind of feel that Zelensky is kind of pushing it a little bit with Putin, because Putin is kind of like a loose cannon right now, and this might kind of just topple him over the edge. I'm pretty sure a lot of people is kind of worried about that. Right now, okay, because that news actually came out 5 minutes ago. And I don't see the SPY moving horribly, so I think I might just be overreacting on my own. Not very sure how that's gonna work. Okay, but anyway, that's all the development for the last 24 hours. Okay, so let's go back to Wall Street Journal and let's look at some company updates, shall we? Western companies pull back from Russia in response to invasion. I'm not going to read this. Oh my god, all of them is about Russia. No. Ooh. Okay. Dealership don't want your cash. They want to give you a loan. Of course they do. Okay. Target reported their earnings. I think it was earlier, and they went up by like 7% or something. I headline read CNBC, but I'm not very sure about it right now. Albertson launches strategy review. Okay. Let's see. Hong Kong COVID-19 measures pressure finance. Okay, honestly speaking, like, it's kind of weird because right now, with this whole Russia-Ukraine situation, this entire pandemic is just like swept under the rug. Like, people just don't care too much about COVID-19 anymore. And I still see people getting positive on my Insta story almost every single day. Okay, people are still getting positive COVID tests every single day, which is bad. Okay, it's still concerning to a certain extent. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm not concerned whatsoever. I am concerned to a certain extent. But I do think that for the whole COVID-19 measures, I mean, yeah, it's Omicron. People just don't care enough. That sort of thing. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let's try to get this under 35 minutes. Okay. I really want to get this under 35 minutes. Hong Kong, most recent measures to combat COVID-19 are unsettling its large community of bankers and investors. Pressure hitting Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. There's been a lot of requests from bankers to their department heads asking to be transferred to other cities such as Singapore or back to their home countries. Makes sense. I think, yeah, Hong Kong in general, they are kind of losing the being the finance hub of Asia. Fair enough. Okay, they're just talking about the COVID. Okay, this is boring. Never mind. Target profit rises as annual revenue crosses $100 billion. I don't know. I like Target, but I don't like them enough for me to really buy their stocks. What's Target doing? Hold on, let me just put in Target. TGT. Ooh, they're up 11% in the pre-market. Okay, that's crazy. I'm gonna go through their earnings later on after dinner. But yeah, I'll probably be talking about this tomorrow instead then. Okay, Bloomberg. Okay, this was from yesterday, basically. Big Oil walks away. Okay. Ukraine heading for more brutal phase of war as Russia regroups. That's pretty bad. China spy think tank advising Xi predicts Russia sanctions will backfire. This is interesting. Sanctions leveled on Russia will ultimately cause more damage to the US and its allies, a research group that advises Chinese President Xi Jinping said, as Beijing weighs how much backing to give its close diplomatic partner. Russia has largely adapted to dealing with punitive financial measures since 2014, when it was penalized for seizing Crimea. Ma Xue, an associate researcher at the China Institutes of Contemporary International Relations, that's a mouthful, wrote in an article published on social media. Tuesday, US and the European allies will wind up suffering for supporting Ukraine, whose research body is linked to the Ministry of State Security, China's civilian intelligence agency. That move sent the rubble tumbling. Okay, included cutting off the Russian central bank from its pile of foreign exchange. That move sent the rubble tumbling the most since the 1990s. A slew of foreign companies, including BP and Shell, are leaving the world's number 11 economy over the financial and reputational risk. And Russian industrial metal exports have sunk as commodity buyers and financials pull back. China has so far refused to either criticize or endorse Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine and abstained from a UN Security Council vote on a resolution condemning the move. On Tuesday, Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbing repeated China's call for dialogue between the two sides. I don't see where's the risk. Hold on. Let me just fast read this. Okay, if the Ukraine refugee crisis is not properly handled, this will be conducive for Russia to sow hatred and sabotage NATO. Fair. The fierce debate on refugee problems inside Europe could also damage its unity at crucial moments. Okay, to be fair, I'm not very sure of the refugee problems in Europe to begin with, so I don't think I can really weigh in on this. China could provide some support for Russia to keep punishment from biting too hard. I don't understand this article. Yeah, sounds like a lot of BS to me. Okay, Lucid, they actually did their earnings yesterday. Since after cutting production target on supply chain woes, lowered its production target for 2022 to a range of 12,000 to 14,000 cars, down from a previous goal of 20,000 for the year, citing extraordinary challenges with logistics and its supply chain. Expected. I actually talked about this before. I think the reason why I bought puts on Lucid and I bought puts on Rivian is because there is no deliverables and we are in a very low supply chain situation right now. And also with demand not really catching up with either of these companies, I don't think they're going to do very, very well. Those were my reasons for me to actually go short on those. And clearly, but I already exited from my Lucid position. So, of course, I'm not really keeping a close eye on Lucid. Let me see LTID. Yeah, they're down 12%. Yikes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for people who are in Lucid. I've said it before. Like there's so many. Oh my god! You have no idea how many times I talk about Lucid and how bad I think Lucid is gonna perform. That's crazy. Okay, it's crazy. Okay, the luxury electric vehicle startup also came up short on its stated goal for deliveries last year. Of course, it delivered 135 of its Air sedans in the final quarter of 2021. They were planning to ship more than 500. And even 500 was a bad number, okay? And they delivered 120. Oh my god. That's bad. That's bad. Okay, shares fell 12%. Okay. Oh my god, it's horrible. It's horrible. I mean, I went through the earnings and I went through the earnings and I pretty much talked about how I don't think this is such a good company, and truth be told, that clearly seems to be the case. So yeah, they're down like 30% since the year started, and of course, similar to Lucid, a lot of tech stocks in general, any companies who are not really in the profit right now, or are actually still down on their debt margins, decimated in 2022. Which is why at the start of the video, I actually said about it. In 2022, it's going to be very, very interesting for us to see Q1 2022, what all the companies are actually doing, because I'm pretty sure there's companies who are down 60, 70, 80% from the year start, because January wasn't really forgiving and February, wasn't really forgiving with a little bit of COVID and a little bit of invasion. So I'm not sure what March is going to give us, okay? Hopefully March is going to be good. But I'm not very, very happy about March because of the CPI, the FOMC, because, inflation is not going to suddenly go away, especially with war. Let's not forget, with war, inflation is going to go up. Okay, people are holding on to gold and oil to hedge inflation. So inflation is going to go up. Okay, and that's my worry. CPI is going to go up. Okay, and if CPI goes up, it just makes it more of a fighting point for the FOMC meeting for James Bullard to come out and say, our 0.5% increase doesn't seem so crazy after all. And that's kind of a concern. But okay, anyway, 34 minutes. I'm going to end it right here, like as fast as I can. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And also, I'll most likely be talking more about the whole FOMC situation in tomorrow's video. And just in case you guys haven't noticed, every new video Wednesday and Saturday. I'm gonna post every Wednesday and Saturday, and then from Monday to Friday, it's just gonna be daily news updates every single day. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you